Hello everyone and welcome to TTG Florida Fest's Luxury Holidays Masterclass. I am joined today by Emma Cashmore, who is the director at Florida Keys in Key West. So thanks Emma for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. So this Luxury Holidays Masterclass is a selling guide for both Florida Keys and Key West, as well as Tampa Bay, who we're going to hear from shortly. So we're going to cover off the destination's USPs, luxury accommodation, best beaches, experiential activities. So it's aimed to get your knowledge up to scratch on the Florida Keys and Tampa Bay so you can sell the destinations with ease. So Emma, there may be some agents tuning in today that are new to selling Florida. So will you give us a brief overview of the Keys, where are they located, and what are their USPs?
Absolutely. The Florida Keys are the string of islands located under the state of Florida. We have a balmy subtropical climate, breathtaking natural views, and a uniquely laid-back atmosphere that is a world away from anywhere else. We have 5 regions: Key Largo, Islamorada, Marathon, Big Pine Key and the Lower Keys, and Key West. And these islands are connected by the Overseas Highway, which has 42 bridges, one of which is almost 7 miles long. The drive down the Florida Keys in itself is luxury. Just imagine yourself in a convertible, the sun shining down on you, music on, and you're surrounded by 2 oceans side by side, which is the Florida Bay and the Atlantic Ocean. And each island is very different. It has its own special flavour, different attractions, museums, historical and cultural offerings, and great, fantastic restaurants all throughout.
Okay, and what would you say makes the Florida Keys and Key West a luxury destination?
We have some lovely high-end resorts, which will pop up in the video that you're going to show. We have beautiful natural parks where you'll have beautiful beaches, beautiful water activities that you can do. A great culture. It's just a very different, quirky, laid back. You know, you kind of a flair of Miami, Cuba, Caribbean. We have an area in Key West called Bahama Village, which is very kind of Bahama-like. So, you know, luxury is top end, but it's also an experience, and that's what the Florida Keys can offer.
Okay, let's take a look at some of those scenes for ourselves in this video. Okay, so Emma, we saw some luxury accommodation pop up there in the video. Can you talk us through some of these accommodation options that agents will have to talk to their clients about and sell to their clients? And are there any new properties or revamped properties that you'd like agents to have on their radar?
Yeah, actually, the Florida Keys, after Hurricane Irma in 2017, the whole Florida Keys underwent a major renovation. Properties renovated, or properties literally rebuilt again from the ground up. So a lot of our product is very fresh and very high end. In the video, you saw Playa Largo and the bungalows up in Key Largo. The bungalows actually is America's first all-inclusive property and is for adults only. The resort sits within a botanical garden edged by 1,000 feet of ocean shoreline. So it's quite spectacular. You also saw Little Palm Island, which is a real hidden gem. That's down towards the Lower Keys, just above Key West. It's its own private island, accessible only by boat, and guests enjoy spacious bungalows, lagoon-style pools, and fantastic gastronomy. You can dine on the beach with the water lapping at your feet. In Key West, we've got Sunset Key, which is very special. It's a short boat transfer ride from Key West, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, regular shuttles going across. And again, that's its own island. It's a 27-acre private island with beautiful cottages, tropical pool, spa, and an award-winning restaurant called Latitudes. So we have got a fair bit of new product coming online, and the best thing to do with that, if anyone wants any intricate details, just to reach out to me and we can pop those across on email.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you've mentioned incredible beaches a few times. Are you able to pick any out that agents should really kind of zero in on when it comes to picking recommendations for clients?
Yes, so the Florida Keys is really known for its beautiful water, corals and fish marine life, but the beautiful beaches you'll find are within the state parks. So up in Key Largo, you have the John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park with beautiful beaches, but then you've also got blue and green tropical waters that you can kayak on, snorkel, take glass bottom boat ride, or obviously dive. It is the only underwater state park in the United States. And then further down, just above Isla Morada, so that would be about a 40-minute drive down, we have Anne's Beach, which is a popular spot for the locals, but it's a great spot to take a picnic hamper and a bottle of fizz and go and watch the sunrise or sunset. Then down towards Marathon and the Lower Keys, you have the Bahia Honda State Park, which has been voted one of America's top 10 beaches. And you can do a full moon kayak tour there as well. And in Key West, our sandbars, we've got numerous sandbars that you can hire a little speedboat and go out to. Lots of people do that. My recommendation, though, for a trip down to Key West is to take the ferry out to the Dry Tortugas, which is 70 miles west of Key West. It's an island that has the Fort Jefferson on top and beautiful golden white sand beaches that surround it. And from the top of the fort, you look down and you can literally see 7 different shades of blue in the water. It's absolutely magical. You're in the middle of nowhere.
That sounds incredible. So, I mean, not that anyone would ever want to leave the beach when there's so much to see and do and it's so beautiful, but what is there for visitors that are keen to explore beyond the beach? I mean, am I right in thinking there are lots of opportunities to seek out wildlife and do other kinds of activities?
Yeah, we do have lots of different wildlife down, particularly in the Lower Keys area. We have what we call the key deer, and these are indigenous to the Florida Keys. They're also endangered, and they're very tiny deer that actually swim. So if you're in and around the Lower Keys, you could see them kind of coming up onto the beach or walking in the back streets. They do have a refuge there that you can also go around and learn about these beautiful animals. And then we have the Great White Heron National Refuge. And this refuge consists of acres of open, shallow, saltwater and mangrove islands. And it's known as the backcountry. And here you'll find obviously the great white herons, but numerous species of birds, wading birds, sea turtles. We have some loggerheads down there. And some manatee and Atlantic bottlenose dolphin, if you're lucky.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what about customers that are keen to weave in a bit of culture and history to the holiday? What attractions or activities would you recommend for these kinds of clients, real culture vultures?
Culture vultures. So all throughout the Keys, you have various different museums. So I mean, up in Isla Morada, this is quite a kind of art galleries and boutiques up here. As you come down to Marathon, you have Pigeon Key, which actually is an island, and it gives the history of the road, the overseas highway. It was called the Henry Flagler's Railroad. So that's a great museum to learn how that railway was built at that time, and it was the only thing that connected the mainland to Key West. And then obviously down in Key West, you have numerous museums. My favourite is the Hemingway House and Museum. And here you can do a tour around and learn all about the history of Hemingway and his wives. Several of them died. Also, you can meet the Hemingway cats. So Hemingway was a big lover of cats, and he housed about 50 when he lived there, but they were polydactyl cats, meaning they have 6 toes. And to this day, you'll go to the house and these cats have been bred on, so you'll see the 6-toed cats. Other really cool museums, you've got the Truman Little White House, and you can take a tour in the limousine. The Butterfly Museum, I went here in June just gone, and it's stunning, it's beautiful, it's a great experience. And we also have the Mel Fisher Museum, which contains an extensive collection of artifacts from the 17th century shipwrecks. But there's so much more than that.
Wow, yes, plenty to explore beyond the beach there then.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, and in terms of transport getting to Florida Keys and Key West, what's the nearest international airport, and how long would the transfer take?
So the most common used airport is Miami International, and this is around a 60-minute drive down to Key Largo. And then from Key Largo to the other islands, you want to allow about 40 minutes in between each island. The full drive down to Key West from Key Largo would be about 3 hours, but we never recommend to do the drive in one go. Always stop off and, plan an itinerary that incorporates every little part of the destination. But we also actually have an international airport in Key West. And here you can actually fly directly back to the UK via one-stop gateways, including Atlanta. And that's really convenient because you check your bag in Key West, it goes all the way through to the UK, very short connection time in the middle, and then it's a night flight back. And because it's a small airport, you can literally leave your sun lounger like an hour and a half before your flight's due to take off.
Wow.
So that's a top tip to maximize your time at the pool.
Absolutely, thank you. All right, so just before we move on to Tampa Bay, is there anything else that you think agents should know about selling the Keys right now?
We do have an online training program that agents can register for. We run various promotions and incentives across it, so check it out. It's FLA, FLA -keys and experttraining.eu, and I'll pop that in the chat for you as well.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Emma. And viewers, if you have any questions for Emma about selling the Florida Keys or its luxury offerings, please type them in the chat box, as we'll be moving into the Q&A in just over 10 minutes time. But first, let's hop on over to Tampa Bay and talk about luxury holidays in that destination. Welcome to Becky Fairley-Clark, who is the UK and Ireland PR Director for Visit Tampa Bay. So thank you for joining me, Becky.
Thanks so much, Maddie. Great to be here.
So let's start with the luxury accommodation options in the city of Tampa Bay. Can you tell us about the latest openings you're most excited about?
Absolutely. So over the last 2 years, 2,500 rooms have been added in Tampa Bay, which is great news. There's always something happening in Tampa Bay. Particularly for the luxury market, I want to highlight the Tampa Edition, which is in the Water Street area, which is a new $3 billion development, very centrally located in the downtown, very much focused on sustainability and community. The Tampa Edition is our first 5-star hotel. It has 172 rooms, great pool deck overlooking the city, and has 7 different bar and restaurants, which are all under the umbrella of the Michelin star chef John Fraser. So fantastic for us. Also in the Water Street area is the Roost, which is a fully serviced high-end apartment hotel. That's great for families or anyone looking for a longer stay. So again, a great addition for us. And I'd be really remiss not to mention the JW Marriott here, which again is very centrally located just off the Riverwalk, and that opened in 2021.
Okay, and are there any hotel launches scheduled for the coming months?
There's renovations going on. So the Floridan Palace Hotel, which is another iconic hotel right in Tampa's downtown. That's having a $25 million renovation, is now part of the Tapestry collection by Hilton, which is really exciting. Our iconic Epicurean Hotel, which is our foodie focused hotel over in Hyde Park, that's so popular that it's being extended and having 8 new suites added. And on the horizon is the Pendry Tampa, which will be opening in a few years' time.
Okay, very exciting.
Yeah.
Now, I know Tampa's culinary scene has recently had a luxurious boost with the Michelin Guide making some exciting announcements. Can you tell us about these latest recommendations and updates?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, great news. So Michelin did a Florida guide to Florida. Tampa was one of 3 destinations within Florida included, which is fantastic. Only the 5th destination in the US to receive a Michelin guide. And Tampa received 3 Bib Gourmands and 16 restaurant recommendations, and they're for restaurants across the city for all different tastes, all different flavors. So yeah, really exciting for the food scene to be recognized in this way.
Okay, and what about Tampa Bay's culinary scene more generally? What can luxury travelers expect to taste and when they get to Tampa Bay?
Well, I think this is it. So we always talk about food, because I really think the food scene in Tampa kind of represents the destination as a whole. It's a perfect example of what Tampa's all about. It's exciting, it's innovative, it's exhilarating, it's really easy to enjoy. And it's really diverse. And I think Tampa Bay has always been a real melting pot of cultures, of experiences, whether that's dating back to the 1880s when Tampa was the Cuban cigar capital of the world. And we had French, Italian, German, Cuban, obviously immigrants coming in, and we created the Cuban sandwich as a result. Or if that's a chef that's based somewhere else in the world who's coming to Tampa because it's such a great food scene and is opening up a pop-up restaurant in Sparkman Wharf, which is our waterside food hall. So yeah, I just think the food scene in Tampa is eclectic and well worth exploring, and everyone will find something that they love.
Okay. And in terms of activities in Tampa Bay, what experiences would you suggest agents recommend to their luxury clients?
And this is where I have to be really short and sweet, because I could waffle on for ages. So I think, you think of luxury, you think spas. We have all sorts of different spas. That's the Spa Evangeline at the Epicurean, which is kind of very foodie focused. Spa at the JW, the Safety Harbour Spa, which uses rich mineral waters locally sourced. Whether that's the great outdoors, you might want to explore the Tampa River Walk, which is 2.6 miles long and links all the attractions in the downtown area. Or you might want to go to our botanical gardens, whether that's the culture and history that you'll find at Ybor City, our Cuban quarter. As I mentioned, Tampa used to be the Cuban cigar capital of the world, and there you can still roll cigars. You can enjoy a cafe con leche sitting on 7th Avenue. You can still have some fantastic experiences there, whether that's cruising. Port Tampa is right in the centrally located, like literally walkable from the Riverwalk, or very accessible from any of the downtown hotels, and has cruises to Mexico and the Caribbean. Whether that's kind of shopping, because I know shopping's great, so whether that's at Hyde Park Village, which is our boutique high-end shopping location neighborhood with with amazing restaurants and great nightlife, or going to International Plaza or Tampa Premium Outlets, whether that's included having a cocktail on one of our fantastic rooftop bars with sunset views across the city. Yeah, there's so much to kind of see and do. Great different experiences, and no day will ever be the same when you're in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, having been myself, I can attest to that one. And I also know, because I've been there, that Tampa is a city with eclectic culture, as you've mentioned already. Are you able to give agents a bit of a taste of what that means for Tampa Bay and what their clients can expect from the culture when they visit?
Yeah, absolutely. So culturally wise, obviously we do have the history, as I've mentioned, in Ybor, but across a number of our neighbourhoods, there's different culture to be found. There's art, and we have over 40 different murals and public art displays now across the destination. And that starts when you land in Tampa International Airport. There's now a 21-foot pink flamingo to greet you, which is fantastic mural, but also the diversity of Tampa is showcased across the art as well. We have the Tampa Museum of Art, we have the History Centre, we have the Strath Centre, which has some great shows and musicals, etc. The Tampa Theatre. So yeah, arts and culture across the destination can be enjoyed by anyone who comes to visit.
Okay. So we do have a video to show today, just 2 minutes, that showcases the sights of Tampa. So let's take a look at that. We heard yesterday how Virgin Atlantic's recently launched flight from Heathrow to Tampa Bay has been performing, but will you recap for anyone who hasn't been able to watch yesterday's Spotlight on the Sunshine State session yet?
Absolutely. So Virgin started flying into Tampa daily from Heathrow at the end of last year. Fantastic news to us, joining a BA that flies from Gatwick. Obviously, Heathrow is such a hub, whether that's from the UK, regional airports within the UK, or from other European destinations, which is just terrific news. It's been going really well. And obviously, the UK is Tampa's largest inbound European market and continues to bounce back from 2019, and we're expecting to surpass the 2019 numbers by a double-digit increase in 2024 and beyond. So great news. UK is really important to us, and I think that's something we wanted to stress, was just how significant the travel trade are to us, how working with agents, working with operators, making sure you guys understand what Tampa's about, how it works as a standalone destination or fits into a Florida itinerary is really important to us. So we'd love to hear from you, love to work with you, and hopefully something like this gives you all the information you need.
Absolutely. And before we move on to the agent Q&A, is there anything else that you think agents should know about selling Tampa at the moment?
I just think it's so accessible. Tampa International Airport is only 7 miles from the downtown. You literally don't need your customers don't need to hire a car when they come to Tampa. It's easily walkable. There's a free streetcar. The international airport has won so many different awards. Has recently been awarded the #1 large airport in the US. We're only an hour west of Orlando. We're a great place to either cut as a standalone, as I say, or at the start or the end of any Florida itinerary. And please go to visit tampabay.com to click on the travel professionals area, and then you'll find itinerary ideas, information, our travel agent academy, where you can find out more details about what I've been talking about here. Yeah, we're just, there's so much to see and do, and we'd just love for everyone to come on over.
Amazing. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Absolutely. So we're now going to move on to the agent Q&A. So if you do have any questions for Becky, please do type them into the chat box, and we'll start with that now. Okay, Q&A time. Thank you everyone for joining. If you do have any questions, as I said, please pop them in the chat. I thought we could start off by chatting about special occasions, because obviously special occasion trips do often come with higher values on the bookings for agents. Emma, I wondered if you could kind of run through what itinerary you might suggest for a couple celebrating an anniversary or a birthday, or even a honeymoon.
Sure. Wow, the Florida Keys is a great destination for that. You could actually twin up the Florida Keys with other parts of Florida as well. I would certainly recommend a couple of nights up in Key Largo, come down to Key West, and then have a couple of nights in Marathon. I mean, for a special anniversary or honeymoon, it has to be Little Palm Island. I mean, it's absolutely stunning out there, and having a couple of nights there, perhaps dining in the ocean with the waves lapping at your feet, they'll arrange that for you. And yeah, just enjoying some of the fine dining that we've got there, some of the seafood. We're known for our stone crab. So just indulging in the gastronomy and the wine and the nightlife, and relaxing at some of our fabulous resorts.
Amazing. And Becky, what about in Tampa Bay?
Absolutely, there's so many places you could stay. I think what comes to mind is either obviously doing a downtown kind of city, luxury city, so whether that's staying at the Tampa Edition or the JW Marriott or one of the other hotels would be great. The Epicurean, so if they're foodie lovers, they could stay in Hyde Park, which is one of our neighborhoods. Stay in the Epicurean, which is a foodie focused hotel, as you can tell by the name, opposite Burns Steakhouse, which is this kind of really renowned restaurant. Or there's somewhere like the Current, which is on Rocky Point, which has an amazing cocktail bar, the Rocks Cocktail Park, views right across the bay, which is fantastic. So lots of different options depending on how relaxed, people want to be, if they want to have that kind of really relaxed vibe or be more city upbeat and doing lots of different things.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. Daryl's asking about bed banks and tour operators. Are you able to name check any companies that would sell accommodation or tours in Tampa? Shall I come to you first, Becky?
Yeah, I mean, we work with all, wide range of tour operators. I know Trail Finders are doing more Tampa at the moment, Major Travel as well. But also, obviously, we work with Virgin Holidays and BA Holidays because of our direct flights. So wide range of kind of tour operators and that working with us, and the bed banks as well. So, we are well represented. And I think obviously this is a luxury masterclass, so this is talking about the high end stuff, but we do have good value, kind of whatever the customers are looking for. We do have a range of hotels to suit their needs.
Okay, great. And Emma, what about for the Florida Keys?
Absolutely the same. We work with all the main bed banks and all the receptives in the USA and in Florida particularly. In the UK, tour operators, we've got some nice itineraries with Luso Travel that work with the travel trade, as well as Gold Medal, Donata, all the usual suspects. You can pick up our product, and for anything specific, feel free to contact me directly and I can connect you with the best person to help.
Great. Now, Kerry's asking about specific hotels for honeymooners. I know we've mentioned quite a few hotels already, but do you know any that might have special honeymoon packages available? Emma, should I come back to you first?
Well, I'm sure that, throughout the year, all of the different hotels will offer special packages and rates, and they're kind of best viewed directly on the websites. Any of the kind of high end that we've already mentioned would be perfect, such as the bungalows, Playa Largo up in Key Largo, Little Palm Island, Sunset Cottages. So best to check their websites, or again, just reach out to me directly and I can do that research for you and send it across.
Great. Daryl's asking who sells bungalows, if you know off the top of your head. If not, this is
a tough crowd for a Tuesday afternoon. I can send that to you, actually. Bungalows is a bit tricky. It's in quite high demand. So actually, in case of the bungalows, you're best off booking directly, I would imagine. But there could be a couple of UK tour operators that have it on now.
Amazing, thank you. And I see Sarah says Luso will be adding Tampa Bay to the portfolio, and they love selling Florida Keys. That's great news.
I didn't know Sarah was on, so yay, gold star for me, shouting Luso out.
It's amazing. And while we're kind of talking about special occasions and honeymoons and luxury trips, I just want to ask briefly about weddings as well. I mean, I can imagine the Florida Keys is probably the hotspot for a beach wedding. Are there any amazing venues that you can highlight today, Emma?
Well, you can actually get married underwater in the Florida Keys at
Wow.
the John Pennycamp Coral Reef State Park. So for all of those budding dive enthusiasts that want something a little bit different, highly recommend it. But yes, you can get married on the beaches, the hotels where they have their private beaches as well. They set it up, as you can imagine, all very elegantly. Of course, we can get married with the dolphins in the Florida Keys, and it's a very sustainable dolphin activity because they're in lagoons and they're just kind of swimming around at the back. So all very friendly. So yeah, lots of different options, and it's very easy to get married in the Florida Keys. You just need to have your divorce certificate if you've been married before, and that's pretty much it basically. Just go to the county courthouse in Key West, get your license, and you're good to go.
Amazing. And Becky, what about in Tampa? What can weddings in Tampa look like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are the very outdoor city. So yeah, I mean, if you think about our river walk, which is 2.6 miles long, we're at our city right on the water, and there's various different venues and locations along there where you can get married. So, great kind of views across the bay, whatever. Many of our hotels as well for great wedding packages. And I think just adding to what Emma's been saying, I mean, Tampa, they're so welcoming. They so want to work with you and to give you what you want that, you'll find that if whatever you want to do for your wedding, then they'll be really trying to make that happen. And obviously we do have the hotel space and that. So if it's a big destination wedding, you want to bring all your friends and family in, then we can certainly accommodate that as well. But yeah, I know people have got or had their parties on Sparkman Wharf, one of our outdoor food halls, and that looked amazing. Just, yeah, there's all sorts of different locations for you to come and enjoy your wedding and then a great honeymoon afterwards.
Great, thanks. Daryl's popped a question in the chat about the average stay in both destinations. Becky, what would be the average stay for the UK market in Tampa?
Well, usually, I mean, obviously we are a standalone destination, but we're also very well combined with other Florida destinations and very easily form part of a Florida itinerary. So if you fly into Tampa with either on Virgin or BA, then maybe 2-3 nights in the city and then go off, up and down the Gulf Coast, or we're an hour away from Orlando. So huge amount of options. But yeah, we normally say about 2 or 3 nights would be great for Tampa visit.
Great. And Emma, what about the Keys? Average length of stay?
Yep, the average length of stay really is about 7 nights. You could do the Florida Keys in a couple of nights if you needed to, if you were linking it in with other Florida destinations, but we really recommend not to do that because there is so much to see and do in the Florida Keys. A lovely duration would be about a 10-night duration in the Florida Keys, and also recommend to twin it in with either gateways that you use, which could be Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or even Orlando.
Amazing, thank you. We are just coming up to the end of the Q&A. Is there anything else that you wanted to add or flag with agents today, Becky?
No, just just please get in contact with us. Please kind of keep up to date. Please take our Travel Agent Academy, which has, all the latest news on it, but also go to visit tampabay.com to see our latest itineraries and different ideas. There's always something going on in Tampa Bay, and we're really, really keen to keep working with the travel trade and for agents to understand what we have to offer and how we fit into a Florida itinerary. So please do get in contact with us.
Great. And Emma, any final comments?
Absolutely the same, really, echoing Becky. I've just put my email address in the chat box. If you ever need anything, you've got a customer inquiry, you can email, WhatsApp. We're here to answer your questions quickly. We can send brochures out for your clients and their ticket wallets with a nice map in, or we have luggage, the luggage straps as well that we can send out to you. So we're basically your tourist board on the ground here to help you with anything you need.
Amazing. Thank you both for your time. It's now time to head into our Flavors of Florida masterclass, which is based in Crystal River.